be cooler than this gorgeous Audi e-tron standing right behind me? It's the lady who reviews it and who puts out her beautiful content and her really cool content out for the entire country, for the entire world to see. And I get to interview this cool lady. So I must tell you, I'm not going to lie, I had a little bit of nerves meeting her, but when I sat with her, had a cup of coffee, I realized that, hey, this is going to be more fun than I thought about. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure at such a very early stage with Car Girls India to be interviewing the OG car girl of India, Ms.Renuka Kirpalani. Ma'am.
Thank you, Shruti. And it's not ma'am, it's Renuka.
Okay, Renuka, this is an absolute pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. She is the executive editor of video content of Autocar, senior automotive journalist, and she's here with us.
I'm as excited as they are to be here because I love it when I see more and more girls in the car world. So I'm equally happy to be here.
Fantastic, and she was so gracious enough to accept our invitation just at the drop of a hat, and that kind of drove us. And ma'am, I thank you on behalf of the entire team, not just in front of the camera, behind the camera, at the office. Everybody is just very, very happy that you're here. Thank you very much.
I'm really delighted. Like I said, it always makes me happy when I see more women enjoy cars and share that passion like I have.
Fantastic. So I think let's get this beauty on the road. And before we get this beauty on the road, I would like to introduce you to Audi's very first EV, that is the Audi e-tron. Just take a look at her. She's beautiful and we're going to check her out really, really soon. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Audi very much because just again, with one single request, they have presented this beautiful car to us to drive around and have a fun conversation with Renuka. I cannot wait for it. Thank you very much. See you inside the car.
Eerie, you know, when it starts. I'm so used to hearing an engine otherwise.
So Renuka, I'm sure you've been asked this question and get asked this question a lot of times, but I really want to know, how did it all start? Your love for cars and your love for all things automotive?
Well, for me, it was growing up around it. So my dad has his own workshop, and he used to build race cars. He used to tune cars. He used to restore vintage cars, and he raced and rallied himself. So I kind of saw those cars being built and raced, and after school I would go to the workshop and be tinkering around, and I'd always watch the mechanics open up things, put them back, and as a kid you're always allowed to do something just to keep you occupied. So that's where it all really began, and I think I've just been around them all my life. And my dad would get new cars to drive on the weekends, and Sunday meant going in a new car and driving, and it would be great fun because he used to look after a lot of people's cars. In those days they were imported, we didn't have so many cars. And I still remember this Alfa Romeo that he had, and we'd go out on a Sunday drive and it had these 3 black stripes, and it was like the it thing, so.
Wow, so you started off at a really early age. Tell me, so was it a natural progression to kind of, did you always know at that age that you want to do something in the automotive?
The passion was always very much there, but there wasn't much of an automotive industry. So my dad wasn't very keen that, this is what I do. And, MBA used to be the big thing. And he was like, there's so much more career. Why don't you think? And honestly, I also didn't give it much of a thought at that point of time and kind of just went off to do commerce from school. Needless to say, I hated it. I was very mechanically minded and nothing there appealed to me. I mean, numbers are not my thing. So I kind of lost my way for a while, and I think I just knew that I didn't enjoy that. Started an interior design business in college. Just kind of happened because I designed my house. Then a friend said, oh, do mine. And then it just snowballed into a business that I was doing. And I did that till I actually graduated and finished college. And then I realized it was just so tough to kind of get people to pay you money, and I didn't like that aspect of the business angle. So I said, now, I need to do something else where people are going to pay me over the counter. And it was kind of, I'd been here a long while and I wanted to get away from home. So I signed up for this hairdressing course in England.
Wow.
Went there, did an 8-month stint in hairdressing, came back, worked at the Taj for a very long time. But that passion for cars never really went. And when I came back, I met all the friends that I had been around on the rallying circuit, and autocrosses were happening and things were happening. So I kind of went, and then I was like, no, I gotta do this. So my dad used to sell off the old race cars. So once I had enough money to buy one, he wasn't keen, and I kept asking him, why can't I use one of your cars and do the autocrosses, and he was not really keen. So I bought one of the cars, and that's how I entered my first race. So that's where it began, and I think once he saw me at that race, it was like, okay, I think she's bitten. There's no chance she's going back from here. So it was kind of a crazy race, but yeah, it was fun.
So you've done a lot of things before you actually settle down with the automotive journalism.
Absolutely.
Hairdressing, that is quite the other end of the spectrum.
I know. I mean, a lot of things I've done are cross spectrum because, so yeah, I did that first race of mine, which I won. And then that was the motivation.
You won it?
Yeah. So I was really nervous. It's a quite a funny story actually, and if you read up, you'll find it. I was so nervous. So I kind of zoned out, and I went in. I was on that grid, and I was just driving. I qualified on the front row, and that made me even more nervous because my dad was watching. And once the race started, I kind of put pedal to metal and just tuned everything else out.
Right.
And suddenly I saw these yellow flags waving, and I'd been told if yellow flags wave means the race is stop and go in. So I was like, and I found only me, and I said, oh shit, what have I done?
Oh my gosh.
Went in, and in Juhu, it was at Juhu airstrip in those days, and they used to have the stands right as you entered in, and I took off my helmet and I heard, Ayla, ye to ladki hai. And I was even more panicked because I said, okay, now I've really messed this up big time. And my friend, who also used to rally, Farah, was shaking me and saying, you know what you've just done? And I was like, oh no.
What?
And then she said, you idiot, you won. What are you doing an extra lap for? So I had not seen the checkered flag. I hadn't seen anything. I just kept going, till they stopped me. So that was my very first race, and I actually won it. So
you did an extra lap. You didn't even realize that you won it.
I was just so zoned out. I didn't. And I think it was all the nervousness, the fact that it was my first race, and that there were all men on that grid, and it was kind of, but it was fun, and I think I knew from then on that there's no looking back. This is my life. Yeah.
So being, like you just said, it was all men, and Ayla, ladki hai.
Yeah.
What are the the comments that you might have gone through all your life doing this, being a woman, and the feminine?
I think I've normally seen awe, and even at Ayla Ye To Ladki Hai was a bit of awe or wow factor.
Right.
And honestly, in the racing rallying circuit, my colleagues, even my journalism colleagues, the boys that I raced and rallied with, I've never really faced any kind of attitude. I was always one of the boys for them, I think. It just kind of became like that. And even now in the journalism, you ask them, they'll say, oh, she's one of the boys, So I've never faced it there. Strangely enough, where I face it more and more now, and I feel really bad about it, is this world of social media and the net, and people who sit nameless, faceless, and just choose to comment without really knowing anything or experiencing it or having known what it is or what it is. I get comments like, what's this grandma doing? And I'm like, dude, if you want to watch women, go to a fashion channel. This is all about cars, So you're here to watch the cars. Why should it matter whether I'm fat, thin, tall, wide, hot, heavy, not,
Yes, absolutely.
So that's the feeling I have, and that's where I find that racism and this sexism kinds of creeps in all kinds of things. People comment on all kinds of things, whether you're tall, you're short, you're grandma, women, and it's really not nice because and strangely enough, it's more towards women than
towards men.
Female anchors need to be a certain way in perception, whereas men can be
any which way possible.
So
So is that so that explains, I mean, how would you when was Autocar? When did Autocar come into the
So,
picture?
yeah, I raced and rallied for a long time, and then marriage happened, kids happened. So of course, the racing, rallying in the car world took a bit of a backseat. I stopped working with my dad as well, where I learned everything hands-on. It was about, I think, 6 or 7 years I helped my husband in his garment business because he kind of needed me at that point of time. And one fine day, Hormuz, who'd been my friend, who's the editor of Autocar India, who'd been my friend from rallying days, calls me, and he's a massive prankster. I don't think a lot of people know this about him, and I'm going to get killed for saying this, but he's a massive, massive prankster. So he called me and he said, "We're doing a TV show, there's a screen test, would you come?" So I wasn't quite sure whether Hormuz was pulling this massive prank on me, but I was just too excited about, being with cars again to pass up on this.
Right.
So I went for a screen test, and I remember there was a qualis and there was a producer, and I was really honestly expecting Hormuz to pop out of the bushes and say, "Ha, I'm pulling a fast one on you." So I was very easy and casual with the whole thing, and they kind of called me back and said, "Hey, we really loved it, and have you done TV before?" I said, "No." So they said, no, but don't, we would find out, so you have to tell us the truth. I said, "Well, why would I say anything? Why would I not?" They said, "No, but you were so cool with the camera," which is unusual for someone who hasn't been around a camera.
Right.
So then I thought even more that this is leading down some really wrong alley. So I'm like, Hormuz, I know you're there on the other end of the line. And they're like, "No, Hormuz is not on this line."
You still thought it was?
I still thought there was this massive prank being pulled on me. So I kind of was too chill, I think. And they said, "So how come you were so cool?" So I said, "Well, I'm beyond 30, I have 2 kids, and I really don't care what anybody thinks." And there was silence at the other end of the phone. And they said, "Okay, we'll call you back." And then they put down the phone, and then I called Hormuz and he asked me, "How did it go?" And I was like, "You weren't there. I thought you were pulling this massive one. You don't know what all I've said, But that was it. And they still, the people that hired me then still joke with me about it, that we only look for anchors 35 and with kids and who are not bothered, So yeah, that's how it all started. It actually fell into my lap, which is not something that happens easily, and I see a lot of people struggling and working really hard to get there, so I was kind of lucky.
Yeah, and considering that cars and automotives have been the be all and end all for you right from such a young age, it is not surprising at all.
No, and I was so excited when they really offered me that job and my first shoot, and it was just the love affair all over again.
So then when you finally realized that this was not a joke and this was not a prank and you are on camera, did that make you nervous then, or were you still married kids and 30?
No. On my first shoot I was really nervous.
Yeah.
And we shot at outside NCPA in Mumbai, which is a really crowded place, and you know how it is when people see cameras, and in those days there were like 2 producers, and it was for television channels, so there was like a little bit of a taam-jam.
Right.
And people collected, and I was kind of really nervous. And I remember the chief cameraman of CNBC was there, and he was a really chill guy, Radha, I still remember you till today, saying, "Man, bade se bade, the biggest of biggest, take many takes, don't worry, see it as many times as you want, So he kind of was really easy with me. He was so patient, the producer was so patient, and I think that just helped. They just broke the ice for me, and we laughed and we joked, and they kind of made it easy for me. They were a really great team, and I think that's what really helped me.
That helps sleeps. So, like I said in my introduction, one of the coolest humans, I'm not going to say coolest ladies, but just really coolest humans I've come across.
Oh.
And I get to interview her and ask her what is any kind of advice or any kind of suggestions that you would give. As you know, Car Girls India, we're not journalists, so we're not claiming to be experts of the car. We're just trying to find a way of girls enjoying being in this industry and driving around, and we can drive.
Okay. Yeah.
So anybody who wants to get into this industry, would you have any suggestions and any advice?
I think if you enjoy driving, you have a passion for it. I think these days it's a lot easier. You don't require that much technical knowledge. Everybody who has a phone can actually report, and review these days. So it's made it a whole lot easier than it was before.
Right.
But I think when you do things, do it right. Know your subject. Show the passion. Don't just do it because it's a trend. That's what I feel. So I kind of, and I think the passion shows when I see Car Girls India, and I think they were equally surprised when I said that I see the passion in the girls that are talking about the cars, because they enjoy the subject, and that comes across on camera. It's very easy to pick up.
Right.
So I think that is it, and persevere. Don't ever give up. I mean, don't. If you fail at first, try again. That's my philosophy always.
Okay, what I would like to...
And hands always on the wheel, please, because even when you're at 30 kilometers an hour, it's the safest thing to do.
So used to driving a manual with my hands on the...
Never.
Yeah.
That's criminal in autocar. If someone shoots with their hands off the wheel, I do not use that shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's unsafe.
Yeah.
And people don't realize even at low speeds, because if someone comes at you from the back or hits you from the side, your control is much less.
That's true. So Renuka, tell me, what is your... I know it's unfair to ask this question, but what is your favorite vehicle of all time, or favorite car of all time?
I have so many. It's not one. I kind of love cars, and I kind of fall in love and then fall in love again. But it's an odd favorite. It's a vintage car. It's a Humber. It's over 100 years old now, and my dad restored it, and I kind of saw that restoration process, and I was just so amazed by this. How little, today our cars are filled with electronics and gadgets and things, and how little this has, but it still functions 100 years later. Wow. Absolutely fine, runs on the road, and I kind of really love that car till today.
So that's your absolute favorite. It would have been criminal to have Renuka ji on our show and not have her drive. After all, she is the OG car girl, ain't she? So we pulled up in a safe place and we swapped positions. Now that you have the wheels,
yes,
we're going to get into a very, very fun, quick fire session. But before that, tell me any vehicles that you are really looking forward to kind of driving, maybe Indian or international?
So many. I mean, there's something. The fact that I like this job is because I get to drive something new every day, and that's the joy of it. And honestly, it doesn't matter to me whether it's an Ignis or whether it's a Lamborghini. Mm-hmm. It's just the joy of something new. I mean, you got into this car and you said the smell of a new car. Those are the small things that really, get us.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just the love for anything new, anything that's different. It's a car. There's so much discovery, and that's what I love.
Has there been any scary incident that has happened?
Easier way to brake is brake, leave, brake, leave, brake, leave. Left of the road, and then there was a ditch. So there was no further I could go, but he came and banged us.